either fighting upon the fields of combat or within the confines of court. There are certain protocols that one will have to follow. Failing to do so can see one's honor fall, while adhering to protocol can see one's honor rise. So the question becomes, how will you proceed when pressed to do so? Greetings and welcome back to Checkpoint Gaming Rising Sun. With this episode, we will be going over game mechanics. When playing the game, it occurs over the course of 4 rounds that are known as seasons, that begins with spring, moves in the summer, continues in autumn, and comes to an end when winter arrives. Since war isn't able to continue in winter due to snowfall, it is a season where nothing happens, thus representing the end of the game and sees the players calculate the bonuses so that they can determine who the winner is. It is worth noting that if an ability is to increase the reward that a player will gain from another action, then it is considered to be part of the rewards that are gained for said action. With the phases found in each season, they consist of the following parts in this order: season setup, the tea ceremony, the political phase, the war phase, and then seasonal cleanup. Once alliances have been forged, each season is to be divided into 2 main phases: the political phase followed by the war phase. During the political phase, players will play the political mandate tokens as well as to worship the kami in order to help get the clans ready as well as to position the forces upon the board. During the war phase, battles are to occur within the contested provinces, which are then to be resolved. At the start of each season, there are a few tasks that need to be taken care of and done in the following order: prepare for war, set the season cards, seasonal income, and return hostages. When preparing for war, randomize the war provinces tokens for the current season, followed by placing them face up upon the war province slots found upon the board where the seasons are divided into spring, summer, and autumn. The number of war province tokens that are to be placed onto the board is equal to the number of players plus 2. From there, place each of the war number tokens onto the war number slot for the province that is indicated by the war province tokens found upon the board, with any unused war number tokens being set aside. When setting up the season cards, if there are any season cards that are found left over from the previous season, then they're to be discarded. From there, take the season deck for the current season and place all the cards face up next to the board and within reach of all players, with identical cards being placed atop of each other as well as being staggered in order to show how many cards are found in the pile. With the season cards, they are divided into 3 seasons out of spring, summer, and autumn, and they grant abilities to the clan that purchased them. With the core season cards, they possess no special symbol upon their back and have to be used in every game. Regarding other sets of season cards, they possess a special symbol upon their back in order to identify what set they belong to. With each game, the players can either choose or to randomly select one set of season cards that are to be added to the core set of season cards. With that taken care of, let's take a look at some of the components connected with the season cards. With type, it is, of course, identifies what type of card it is. With the coin cost, it indicates the price of the card that the player will have to spend in order to obtain said card. And with ability, it gives the clan that purchased the season card a given ability which is listed upon the card itself. These cards also possess a particular type which are color-coded. With enhancement cards, their color is green and their abilities will enhance the clan that possesses it, giving them special abilities to be used by the figures or with the action that they take. With virtue cards, their color is blue and they will give the clan that purchases them either extra victory points or benefits that will trigger under specific conditions. With monster cards, their color is brown and will give the clan that purchases it a monster figure that possesses a unique ability. With the War Upgrade cards, their color is red and they grant the clan that purchases it specific benefits that are triggered at the start of any given war phase. And finally, with the Winter Upgrade cards, their color is light blue and they offer additional victory points, but only when special conditions have been triggered at the end of the game. With seasonal income, it represents the amount of coins the clan receives from the common pile that is equal to their seasonal income value as indicated by the given clan screen. During setup, players shouldn't have any coins. And with the returning of hostages, when a player possesses any figures that they took as hostages, they are to be returned to their respective owners at the start of the summer, autumn, and winter seasons. For every hostage that they return, said player will collect 1 additional coin from the common pile. Once done with the seasonal setup, each season will start with the tea ceremony, where the players will establish their alliances for that given season. Any alliances that existed in the previous season will be disbanded, with each player then taking their clan's alliance token in order to form a new alliance. When part of an alliance, it can be beneficial through the use of things such as bonuses. However, there are times when it can be restrictive or detrimental. It is important that the players choose their alliance wisely, how far they're willing to take it, what the expectations are, and even if the player wants to be in an alliance for that given season at all. In order for an alliance to be created, both players will have to be in agreement. Once forged, the 2 players will have their alliance tokens joined together to form a completed circle and placed within view of all the players. Unless broken by the betrayal mandate, alliances will last for the current season, and if broken, no new alliance can be forged until the new season arrives. Depending upon the player count, the tea ceremony can end in multiple ways, with several alliances being formed and a chance that 1 or more players not entering into any alliance. Although an unaligned player will miss out on the opportunity connected with some of the bonuses, they can still explore the benefits of being an independent clan. And remember, although alliances are mutually beneficial, this is a competitive game with only 1 player being deemed the winner when winter arrives, so deals and alliances should always be used to further one's personal objective at the end of the day. When in an alliance, it comes with a number of different effects. First, the allied players will grant each other bonuses that are listed upon the political mandates that they played during the political phase. Second, the allied players will fight each other during the war phase if they are the only players found within a given province. Victory will automatically go to the player that possesses the highest force found within said province. Third, when the allied players find themselves in a battle that involves them and at least one other player, and when the allied players come out victorious, then they won't kill the figures belonging to their ally. Fourth, the allied players are still considered opponents when it comes to that of the season card abilities and any other effects. Fifth, if an allied player plays a Betray Mandate, then they will immediately lose honor and will see their alliance be broken. And sixth, in the event where the game ends in a tie between the allied players, then they are to share the victory. Once entering the political phase, the players will take turns selecting the political mandate so that they can prepare their clans and position the forces in accordance with their given strategies. With the structure of the political phase during each season, it follows this order: 3 mandate turns, 1 Kami turn, 2 mandate turns, 1 Kami turn, 2 mandate turns, 1 Kami turn, and then the war phase. To determine who will be taking the first mandate turn at the start of the game, it is the player of the clan that possesses the highest honor upon the honor track. But at the start of each following season, the first player to engage in the mandate turn is the player found to the left of the player who performed the last mandate turn of the previous season. To make this easier, make sure that the political mandates deck is found close to the player who is going to be playing the mandates next. During the mandate turn, the player who currently possesses the political mandates deck will draw 4 tiles from top of the deck and look at them without sharing them with the rest of the players. From there, they will select one of them and return the rest to the top of the deck, doing so face down and without reshuffling. From there, the chosen political mandate is to be placed face up upon the first available political mandate slot found upon the board, going from left to right so that all the players can see when mandate is being executed. The chosen political mandate is then to be performed by all the players, starting with the player found to the left of the player who selected the mandate and proceeding clockwise. So the player who selected the mandate will be the last player to perform the mandate. The exception to this is when the trade mandate is played. The effects associated with each political mandate is summarized upon the political tile found upon each clan screen. Excluding the Betray mandate, each mandate has 2 components to it, one that will affect all the players and the other only affecting the current player and their ally if they have one. One by one, each player will perform the selected mandate, with only the player who selected the mandate and their ally being allowed to perform the mandate's bonus. This will continue until all the players have performed the mandate. It is worth noting that all mandate events are considered to happen simultaneously. For example, performing the Harvest Mandate, the player who gained multiple coins or victory points from multiple provinces will happen at the same time of said player receiving said reward when it comes to that of triggering abilities. When it comes to that of effects that occur at the end of any given mandate, they will only occur when all the players have exhausted said mandate. When the current mandate turn is over, the current player will pass the remaining political mandates face down to the player found to the left, who will become the current player and will execute the next mandate turn unless the political track indicates that a counter turn is to be performed next. Let's take a look at the 5 political mandates available to the player, which consists of Recruit, Marshal, Train, Harvest, and Betray. With the Recruit mandate, it allows the player to place additional figures onto the board, plus bolstering their given army. With the All Players section, every player will get to summon one of their figures found in the reserve for every stronghold that they possess and place it into the province that possesses one of their strongholds. So if a player has 3 strongholds on the board, they can summon up to 3 figures, followed by having to place one into each province that possesses one of the strongholds. It is possible for a player to have more than one stronghold found in a single province, and when this is the case, said player can summon figures to said province that is equal to the number of strongholds that are found within it. And there is no limit to the number of figures that can be found within any given province. And if there is no figures found within the player's reserve, then said player cannot summon any more of them. And no matter how many different figures the player summons onto the board in any given instance, it is considered to be a single summon when it comes to that of triggering abilities. Regarding the current player and their allies section, the player can summon an additional figure and place them onto any of one of their strongholds, even if they have already summoned a figure for that given stronghold. And when a Shinto warrior is summoned, and only when they get summoned, the player can choose to send it to worship one of the Kami shrines found on top of the holy mountains. If the player chooses to do this, then the Shinto warrior is to be taken from the province they were summoned in and immediately placed into any one of the 4 shrine tiles. There is also no limit to the number of Shinto figures that can be found in any given shrine. And once a Shinto has started worshipping at one of the shrines, they are not considered to be upon the map, and they cannot be moved to that of a different shrine or back onto the map. With the Marshal Mandate, it will allow the player to move their figures around upon the map as they see fit. It can also allow the players to build a new stronghold in order to establish a better foothold for them and allow each player to decide where they would like to move their figures upon the map. With the All Players section, each player can move each of the figures found upon the map into an adjacent province, which can be done by crossing a border or using a shipping route. The player can move none, some, or all of their given figures based upon the player's desires. but it's important to remember that each figure cannot be moved more than once during any given martial mandate. Regarding the current player in their ally section, the player can spend 3 coins in order to build a new stronghold anywhere upon the map. If they decide to do this, they will discard 3 coins into the common pile, followed by playing one of their stronghold tokens found in the reserve and placing it in any province they desire. This new stronghold doesn't have to be found adjacent to any province that already possesses a stronghold, and each province is able to hold an unlimited number of strongholds. But if a player has already placed all 4 of their strongholds, then said player is unable to build any more. With the trade mandate, it allows every player to acquire new season cards for the given clan, thus allowing it to be upgraded in a variety of different manners with new abilities and even add monsters to their army. And unlike other mandates, the player who selects the trade mandate will go first instead of last. With the all players section, every player is able to obtain one of the season cards that are currently on display, thus choosing the season card they wish to purchase and discarding the number of coins needed to buy said season card into the common pile. But it is worth noting that some cards are free to obtain. Once obtained, this newly acquired season card is placed face up next to the given clan screen so that all the other players are able to see it, and any abilities that are associated with said card are in effect the moment said card is acquired. It is worth noting that a player is able to obtain more than one copy of a given season card over multiple training mandates, thus causing the abilities to stack together. With some of these cards, they have an effect that refers to a player possessing an Oni or a monster. In order for this effect to become activated, the figure in question doesn't have to be found upon the board. The player just needs to be in possession of it. But when it comes to cards that refer to strongholds, said stronghold will have to be found upon the board. This is due to the strongholds that are found within the player's reserves, not counting as being owned by said player. Regarding the current player and their ally section, if a player decides to purchase a season card, then it will cost 1 less coin than was listed upon the card, with the minimum cost being that of 0. It's worth noting that the player can only purchase a single season card during any given trading mandate. When a player purchases a monster season card, not only will they place that card next to the clan screen, they will obtain the corresponding monster figure, attach their corresponding counter base onto it, and then immediately summon it to any province that possesses one of the strongholds. This monster now counts as one of the clan's figures and is equal to 1/4 unless otherwise stated. If killed, the monster is placed into the player's reserve, allowing it to be summoned again just like a regular clan figure. There is also no limit to the number of monsters the clan is able to possess. Although the base game comes with 8 monsters, 4 new monsters can be added through the use of the monster pack. With that said, their associated cards are slightly different than the season cards that come in the base game, as indicated by the dragon illustration found upon the card's back. In order to add extra monsters into the game, just set up the season cards normally and start of each season, followed by adding 1 or 2 extra monster cards to it that correspond to the season, placing them on top of said pile. With acquiring these additional monsters, they're done so normally, just like the other monster cards. But when playing with the Moon and Sun clan within the game for the Dynasty Invasion expansion, the 7 Lucky God cards are to be included. During setup and dealing with the season cards, in addition to the normal cards, also place all the Lucky God cards in accordance to the given season, where 3 are for spring, 2 are for summer, and 2 are for autumn. The Lucky God cards are treated the same as monster season cards and operate as such with their own special monster ability described upon its respective card, but with the following exceptions. 1. Only the Moon and Sun clans are able to acquire them, and 2. The Moon and Sun clans are unable to acquire any of the monster cards that come with the base game. With the Harvest Mandate, it allows the player to gain coins and possibly reap the rewards that are connected with the province that they control. With the All Player section, every player will gain 1 coin which is obtained from the common pile. Regarding the current player and their ally section, the player will collect the listed rewards found associated with every province where they possess the greatest number of figures. Do this by checking each province and add together the force value of every figure that belongs to each clan found in said province. From there, grant the province's reward to the clan in said province that possesses the greatest force value. But if there is a tie, then the player that possesses the highest honor is considered to be the one with the greatest force within that province, thus making them the winner. With the reward that each province might offer, it consists of the following: victory points, coin, or ronin. With victory points, the clan marker of the respective player is moved once upon the victory point track. With coin, the player will collect 1 coin for the common pile. And with the ronin, the player will collect 1 ronin for the common pile. Finally, with the Portray Mandate, it is the only mandate where the current player is the only player who will benefit from it. If the current player is part of an alliance, then said alliance is immediately broken with the current player losing honor in doing so. But if the current player isn't part of an alliance, then they will not lose any honor. When a Portray Mandate is played, the current player can choose up to 2 figures that are currently found upon the map and belongs to 2 different players and immediately replace them with their own figures from their own reserve and are of the same type. With that said, the current player cannot replace 2 figures that belong to the same player, or replace an opponent's figure with the figure belonging to the current player that is already found upon the board, or replace an opponent's figure with a figure that is of a different type. It is worth noting that a monster found in a player's reserve can be used to replace another monster. Even though they possess different names, they are considered to be the same figure type. Regarding the replaced figures, they are returned to their respective owner's reserve, but it is worth noting that these replaced figures are not considered to have been killed, and if the current player's alliance is broken, they are not required to replace one of the figures that belongs to their former ally, but it is an option. It is worth noting that the daimyo figures and shinto figures found upon a shrine tile are unaffected by the Betray Mandate. But if a shinto figure is found upon the map, then they can be affected by the Betray Mandate. And if the current player doesn't have an equivalent figure of the figure that they wish to replace, then said figure cannot be replaced. Finally, replacing a figure doesn't count as summoning, thus preventing a Shinto figure from being sent to worship. When the mandate turn is over, and the next step found on the political track possesses a kami symbol, then the kami turn is triggered with each clan that has summoned their Star Warriors found upon the shrines will reap the rewards. During the kami turn, the players will resolve any of the triggered effects found upon each of the shrine tiles in order, going left to right. During each kami turn, the players are able to compare the total number of forces that each clan possesses within each shrine. The clan that possesses the greatest force will be the only one that will benefit from the given shrine. But if there is a tie, then the player that possesses the higher honor will be deemed as the clan that possesses the greatest force upon the given shrine. And if there aren't any Shinto upon a given shrine, then it is to be skipped during that given turn. Regarding the kami, each one offers a different ability to each player that possesses the greatest force upon their respective shrine, which are to be immediately executed before moving on to the next shrine. With Amaterasu, the Sun Goddess, she grants her top worshipper the ability to move the respective clan marker directly to the top of the honor track, regardless of how low the honor was before, and shifting all the other clans down accordingly. It is important to note that this can affect the honor tie breaking when resolving any fallen shrines during this given kami turn. With Fujin, the Wind God, he grants his top worshipper the ability to perform up to 2 move actions with the figures found upon the map. The player can either move 2 of the figures to one adjacent province or move one of the figures twice in a row. When moving the figure, it can either cross a border or use a shipping route found between provinces. With Hachiman, the War God, he grants his top worshipper 2 Ronin tokens that are to be taken to the common pile. With Raijin, the Thunder God, he allows his top worshipper to summon 1 Bushi, which is taken for the player's reserve, and place it in any province, regardless if they have a stronghold there or not. With Ryojin, the Sea God, he allows his top worshipper to obtain a season card that is available next to the board, paying the full coin cost in doing so. With Susanoo, the Storm God, he grants his top worshipper victory points equal to the number of strongholds that the player currently possesses upon the map. And finally, with Chushiku Yomi, the Moon God, he grants his top worshipper 2 coins that are taken from the common pile. After all 4 shrines have been resolved, the political phase will continue with the next player performing their respective mandate turn. But if this is for the 3rd coming turn of the season, then the political phase will come to an end and the war phase will begin. With the war phase, it sees the players fight over any of the contested provinces. When a player wins a battle, it will grant said player extra victory points, especially when said player is able to conquer a variety of different provinces. At the start of the war phase, each player is to flip their political war tile from the political side to its war side, with any War of Great Season card the player possesses also being resolved at this time as well. It is worth noting that with any at the start of war phase effect, they occur at the start of the war phase of each season, not at the start of the battles. Each season will also see war occur within the provinces that possess a war number token as determined by the war province tokens that are drawn during seasonal setup. And since these tokens are randomized for each season, the provinces that are at war and the order that they are to be resolved in will change every season. It is worth noting that during the war phase, players are not allowed to freely exchange coins or Ronin as part of their negotiation effects. And regarding the start of a battle, it occurs right before any of the players will prepare to allocate any of the coins upon the war advantages and upon the war tile. And once the battle has begun, all players that are part of it have to remain in said battle until the end, even if all the figures have been removed from said province for one reason or another. Thus, they are to bid upon the war advantages, possibly take hostages, and even potentially winning the battle. When a figure possesses a special ability that will trigger if we're in a battle with said figure, then said figure will have to still be alive and found in the battle when said battle ends in order for his ability to trigger. But if it commits seppuku, is taken hostage, is killed, or is otherwise removed from the province, then this ability will not be triggered. Starting with the province possessing number 1, and then progressing in ascending order, wars should be resolved in each province one at a time. If there aren't any forces found in a province, then nothing will happen and its corresponding war province token gets discarded. When there is a single player that has any forces found within the province, they will take the corresponding war province token and place it next to their clan screen face up. When 2 allied players possess forces within a province, a battle is not to occur. The player that possesses the greater force within said province will take the corresponding war province token and place it next to the clan screen face up. But if there is a tie, then the player that possesses the highest honor is considered to be the one with the greatest force within said province, thus making them the winner. Finally, if there are at least 2 players that possess forces found within a province and they are not allies, then the battle is to occur in order to see who the winner is going to be. With the resolving of battles, they only occur within provinces that possess forces within it that belong to at least 2 non-allied players. In this case, the battle is to involve all players that possess forces within said province, even if an alliance exists between the players. During the battle, the participating players will have the chance to place coins upon the war side of their political war tile in order to gain particular war advantages. This can alter the total force each player possesses in said province, as well as possibly granting benefits to the players. Before the battle begins, each player will have to clearly display the coins and Ronins next to the clan screen so that every player can see them. And if asked, the player can answer truthfully regarding how many coins and Ronin tokens they possess. From there, the battle can begin. The players found in the battle will then move all their coins behind the clan screen, followed by allocating them to different war advance spots found upon the war tile, which is done in secret, and each player doing this simultaneously. The players can allocate any number of coins, including none at all, upon each spot in accordance to which one they are trying to win. Any coins that the player doesn't want to allocate to a given war advantage can be placed behind the clan screen but below that of the war tile. It is important to ensure that the opponents won't be able to tell which spots possess coins and if there aren't any coins that weren't placed onto the war tile. When all players have finished allocating the coins on the war tile, they'll simultaneously left the clan screens, thus revealing the bids. For any coins that weren't placed onto the war tile, they won't count for purposes of the battle and are returned to said player's reserve. Once the clan screens have been lifted, the players are to compare the number of coins that have been allocated by each player to each of the war advantage slots, resolving them one by one from left to right, with each war advantage being won by the player that bid the most amount of coins. But when there is a tie, then the player that possesses the highest honor is considered to be the one with the most coins upon the war advantage, thus making them the winner. When all the players have decided not to bid any coins on a given war advantage, then it is simply skipped and the players move onto the next war advantage. And only the player who has won the war advantage is allowed to execute said war advantage. With that said, it is possible for the player who won the war advantage to choose not to execute it, as means of depriving another player of said war advantage. It is worth noting that the resolution of any given war advantage can affect the outcome of the following war advantages. First, we have seppuku, with the winner of this war advantage choosing to immediately kill all their given figures found within said province. If they choose to perform this, they will immediately gain 1 victory point and 1 honor for every figure that is killed this way. It is worth noting that this can change honor tiebreakers regarding the following war advantages. They will also have to kill off all their figures, thus preventing the player from leaving any of them within said province. It is worth noting that the player still participates in the battle, even if they don't have any figures remaining within the province. Second, we have take hostage, with the winner of this war advantage capturing 1 figure found in the province that belongs to another player, including one that belongs to an ally, which is to be removed from the province and placed next to the clan screen of the player who performed this war advantage. Said figure also isn't killed, just captured. This figure will only be returned to its respective owner during the setup phase of the next season. If they choose to perform this, they will also steal 1 victory point from the clan that saw this figure be captured. This will cause that clan's marker to be removed back 1 slot upon the victory point track, accompanied by having the clan that took the hostage move forward 1 slot upon the victory point track. But if the targeted clan doesn't possess any victory points, then this exchange and victory points will not occur. It is worth noting that the clan daimyo is immune to take hostage, so this war advantage cannot be used against the daimyo. Third, we have higher Ronin, which will see the winner of this war advantage choose to add the Ronin token to the forces that they have in the disputed province. With every Ronin token that is found in said player's reserve, they will grant a +1 to the force in order to help determine the outcome of said battle. It is worth noting that with these Ronin tokens, they are not spent when they are used in this manner, thus allowing them to be available for hiring in the following battle. But if a player doesn't have any Ronin tokens found at their disposal when they win a higher Ronin war advantage, then they won't be able to add any force to the figures. They exponed their opponents by depriving them from using their Ronin during this given battle. Before the players are able to move onto the Imperial Poet war advantage, the battle will have to be conducted and concluded. It is at this point that the players will compare the total force value that they currently have within the corresponding province with the clan that possesses the most force being deemed the winner of the battle. From there, they will take the corresponding war province token and place it face up next to the given clan screen. But when there is a tie, then the player that possesses the highest honor is considered to be the one with the most force found within the province, thus making them the winner. Regarding all the figures that are found within the province that belong to the losing player, they are immediately killed unless one of the losing combatants is allied with the winning player. In this case, their respective figures are not to be killed. It is worth noting that at the end of the battle, if none of the players possess any remaining force within the contested province, then the player that possesses the highest honor is deemed the winner. And fourth, we have Imperial Poets, with the winner of this war advantage gain victory points equal to the total number of figures killed during the course of the battle, regardless of who the figures belong to or how they were killed. To help keep track of this count, keep the killed figures separated from each player's reserves until the Imperial Poet's war advantage gets resolved. When that has been completed, the game moves onto the war reparations stage, where the battle is over and sees all the losing players discard any of the coins that they allocated on the war tile to the common coin pile. But with the winning player, they are to give all of the coins that they allocated upon the war tile to all of the losing players, which are to be equally distributed among the losing players who can then use them in subsequent battles. But if the number of coins can't be equally distributed to the losing players, then the winning player gets to decide which player or players will be getting a spare coin. From there, the war phase gets resolved in the next province until every province that possesses a war number token has resolved the war phase steps. When that occurs, the war phase comes to an end. Regarding seasonal cleanup, it occurs when the war phase comes to an end and sees the bookkeeping steps be performed before the game advances to the next season. First, the players are to discard any coins and Ronin that are found within the reserves, which are placed into their respective common piles. With that said, they can replenish the reserves in the following season. Second, all figures that are found upon the shrine tiles are to be returned to their respective owners. This will require them to be sent out once again in order to worship at the shrine during the next season. With that said, all figures that are found upon the map will remain there from season to season. And third, take all the political mandates that are found upon the board and shuffle them together with the unused political mandate tiles. Once that has been completed, place this new deck within easy reach of the player found to the left of the player who engaged in the last mandate turn this given season. Once all that has been completed, the next season is able to begin, starting with the seasonal setup step. When the game reaches the winter season, it signifies the end of the game. The only season setup step that exists for this season is that of return hostages. This is done in order to satisfy any triggered conditions listed upon any season cards that a player possesses that pertains to returning hostages. From there, the players will gain additional victory points as long as they satisfy the following conditions. First, if they possess winter upgrades, these season cards will give the player victory points that are based upon different criteria. Second, every War Province token that the player possesses will grant that player victory points based upon the season that the War Province token was won in. For every Spring War Province token they possess, it is worth 1 victory point. For every Summer War Province token they possess, it is worth 2 victory points. And for every Autumn War Province token they possess, it is worth 3 victory points. When it comes to that, on War Province set bonuses, players will get additional victory points based upon the number of War Province tokens that they have obtained that are from different provinces. Basically speaking, don't spam a single province in the hopes of obtaining this bonus, or it won't work. This is due to possessing several tokens of the same province not counting toward this bonus. Only tokens of different provinces will. For the table that lists the reward of the number of different War Province tokens that have been collected, it looks like this. With 3 to 4 different tokens, it is worth 10 victory points. With 5 to 6 different tokens, it is worth 20 points. And with 7 to 8 different tokens, it is worth 30 points. Whenever a player would score a victory point, including when they obtained bonus victory points, move their respective clan marker along the victory point track. If any player obtains more than 50 victory points along this track, move the marker back to the 1 slot, and then flip the marker upside down, which will indicate that an additional 50 points are to be added to their score once all the scores have been tallied. After all the victory points have been tallied, the player that possesses the most victory points is deemed the winner. But if a tie is to occur, then the player that possesses the highest honor amongst the tied players is deemed the winner. And in the case where allied players are tied for first, then they don't have to share the victory. Sometimes it is possible for multiple people to be declared the winner, even in the competitive game. So with that said, that's what we need to know about the game mechanic for Rising Sun. With that taken care of, we can start talking about Gaming Unbound. If you like this episode, feel free to give it a like, and if you want to stay up to date on any future episodes we upload, go ahead and subscribe. You can also support us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/checkpointgaming. See you in the next episode, and happy gaming.